I think I bring a lot of experience, both as a player and a coach. When I played, I was a punter and kicker in college, so I think for those guys to at least have a guy who can coach them that has been through what they've been through helps a lot. Also, for let's say the past 10 years, I've been associated with coaching, all the units in some facet or another at every school I've ever been at the college level. And, Texas Tech, one year we led the Big 12 in punt returns. At Kansas, one year we were first or second in kickoff return. At Texas State, we were first in punting. And every unit I've ever had, I've had a kicker that set a school record for most consecutive extra points, and another one set a record for longest field goal. And so I've done a little bit of everything at every school I've ever been at. So I think, having those experiences at all levels, from the BCS level to FCS level, even Division III, and I played Division II. So, I've kind of been a little bit of everywhere.
What's your secret to success then, Coach?
I'm a good learner. I can honestly say anything that you see from us, it's not like I came up with it on my own. I always know the right people to talk to and learn from. And even when I first started, I knew right when I got done playing football, I knew I wanted to coach football. My whole family's in football, everything like that. So, I started learning from the best, meeting with guys in the NFL that are special teams coordinators. How do you do this? How do you do that? How do you organize practice? How do you do this? What do you look at for that? I started at a very young age in this process of coaching. Just kind of built that, and every year I continue to look and talk to people. And I'm looking right now to talk to someone this summer. Go spend 2-3 days with someone.
Obviously, with the coaching change in Kansas, open an opportunity, but why come here to Youngstown State?
Honestly, the reason why I came back is because of Coach Wolford. I've known Eric a very long time. I've known him since I was in probably 6th, 7th grade, because my oldest brother was his college roommate at Kansas State. So he used to come back on the weekends, drive through Shadyside, drop off my brother before he headed up to Youngstown. And then his first ever coaching job was for my oldest brother, and I think I might have been the first recruit Coach Wolford ever had recruiting. He recruited me to go out to Emporia State to play for him, and then we just always kept in touch everywhere I've been, at conventions and just talking. He was at my brother's wedding 2 years ago, or last summer we talked about just football in general. We always said, if I ever get the opportunity to be a head coach somewhere, would you ever come join me? I said, without a doubt, because I believe everything that he believes in as a program, and his passion for the game, and his family beliefs is everything that I believe in.
What have you seen about your personnel? Obviously, last year was last year, but some troubles there on special teams. But
yeah, really, the thing about special teams is there's always troubles everywhere. It's just a lot of the stuff is what people tend to focus on and kind of blow some stuff out of proportion. So, like I tell the guys everywhere I've ever been, it's never as good as it seems. It's never as bad as it seems. They may have had some troubles in certain areas of the game a year ago, but there were some good things that you saw from the guys. The kicker, Stephen Bloss, I thought he did a tremendous job kicking extra points and field goals. He does a really good job of that. The long snapper, he's a really good long snapper. There's certain key parts to it that I think you can build on and do, especially this spring and during the course of training camp, to eliminate a lot of those mistakes. That's the biggest thing that with the kicking game is there's very few plays. It's not truly a third of the game. Like offense and defense, really, there's only ever 20, 25 snaps in a given game, and you make one mistake, you get one block punt, out of 25 snaps, you may have 24 great plays, but everyone thinks your special teams is really bad because you have one bad play. But you throw one interception or give up one touchdown on defense, and your defense isn't the worst defense in the country, and your offense isn't that bad. But because there's so few plays, they tend to get, blown out of proportion, so to speak. And I don't think they were as bad as everyone thinks they were a year ago.
Anything on the running backs?
Oh.
You're off the hook there.
No. Sit there for a second. The running backs were obviously last year They had some good talent there, and what just again about the personnel of the running backs.
We're very young, obviously. I graduated a couple running backs from a year ago. I think right now in spring ball we only have one guy who's, other than Kyle Banna, plays fullback, that ever took a snap at tailback, Jermaine Cook. So, I mean, he's very good. He's a talented kid. Just watching him in some of those 6 a.m. workouts, he potentially, not seeing him on the field yet, he is every bit as good as some of the tailbacks that I had at Kansas, athletically speaking. I mean, he runs very well. He's very quick. Also, this past recruiting class, we got some really good high school tailbacks that will come in and obviously have the opportunity to compete, during the course of training camp, to come out and figure out who's going to be our, featured back, a backup back. And, my philosophy, as well as Coach Wolford, you can't go into a season with just one running back. You're going to need 2 or 3 running backs because you get pounded play in and play out at that position. So, we need to develop, at least a 3 deep at tailback and a 2 deep at fullback to get in there and do some of the stuff that him and Coach Montgomery want to do offensively.
The one kid, his name escapes me right now, but the kid you got from Florida, I think it was last week, the running back.
Oh, Darius Bellamy.
Yeah, that's the guy. He had some pretty strong comments in terms of what he wants to accomplish here at Youngstown State. Kind of a chip on his shoulder. He wants to come in here and wants to do some things. I mean, do you like that? Talk about him and what he brings, because it seems like a lot.
Yeah, I do. I don't know. I think you got to have a certain amount of confidence, and I think that's what he demonstrates with his ability. I mean, he coming out of high school the first time before he went to the academy that he went to, he was very highly recruited. I recruited him at the University of Kansas. I tried getting him to come out there, and I know like Florida was on him, and South Florida eventually got him to sign, and a couple other big schools, and it just, for one reason or another, didn't work out. He had to go a different avenue, but he's very talented, as well as the other running backs that he signed, kid from Ursuline and kid down in Cincinnati, and I mean they all bring something different to the table, and I think it just will be unique to figure out, which one picks the offense up the quickest and can adapt to college football the fastest, to see who will be out there, as well as the running backs we currently have in the program, to determine who's going to be the guy game 1 in Penn State and throughout the season.
Louie, how important is this spring practice for you to see some of the guys who can participate in those drills?
For me, I think it's extremely important. Because, for one, just because our running backs are so inexperienced, just to see who can do what we're asking, whether or not we might have to tweak a footwork here and there for each individual's skill. Also, I think it's really important for me just with special teams, just to see the guys, because, I mean, I'm in a unique situation where I deal with the whole team. I got to deal with the secondary and the linebackers, as well as linemen and my own running backs, and everyone but the quarterback. And some schools I've been at, I've been allowed to use a quarterback. Not at Kansas, our backup quarterback was my holder, backup punter, emergency return man. He kind of did everything for us, as well as being a backup quarterback. So I think that will be really huge for me for the kicking game, just to be able to see guys run around. Because it's a little different than being in T-shirt and shorts, running through conditioning stations, and then when you put the pads on. So I think for me, the biggest help will be this spring for special teams purposes.